The Davis Bacon Act is an 80-year-old wage law that requires most federally funded projects to pay workers according to a government-dictated wage scale. As a result, federal contractors are charged much more in labor costs compared to private companies, according to Utah Senator Mike Lee.
We have federal regulatory restrictions that make everything that is accomplished with federal funds, whether it's a road project or something else, more expensive. We're talking about a lot more expensive. Some say 20 or 30% more expensive. Others put the number even higher than that.
Making a project 20 to 30% more expensive than it ought to be is a result of what is called a prevailing wage for federal contractors, determined not by market forces, but by bureaucrats in Washington, says Lee. And he's written legislation he hopes would change that.
We think that we shouldn't have this requirement relative to wages. There's no reason why we have to have a national wage requirement when there are a lot of disparities around the country with regard to prevailing wages.
Lee's efforts to lower federal construction costs with his Davis Bacon Repeal Act may be gaining support amongst conservative activists. Indeed, it could help leverage the dollars contained in any infrastructure package offered by President Trump, says Phil Kerpen, president of American Commitment.
A law like this that Senator Lee's proposed to repeal that Davis-Bacon requirement would really dramatically stretch how far the infrastructure dollars that are going to be spent in the Trump infrastructure package can go. We could maybe get, 20 or 30 or 40% more things built and done if we don't have to pay inflated labor costs by being restricted to just being able to use union labor. And so I think it's a very positive development.
Lee's Davis Bacon repeal legislation has already attracted support from several of his Senate colleagues, including Senators Cruz, McCain, and Rubio. The House version is sponsored by Iowa Congressman Steve King. John Hines, One American News, Washington.